So, Wizzy.
Wizzy baby.
Yeah, Wizzy is like one of the biggest artists in Nigeria.
Anyway.
So whatever happens, even if he releases a snippet, we're going to talk about it because it's risky.
Yeah.
So a single off made in Lagos dropped, Smile featuring H.E.R.
Yes.
What's your impression about the record to start with?
First things first, I think I'm impressed. The last time we talked about Wizkid, I said I didn't have faith. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't have faith. I still don't have that faith. But the song shows three things. They did four things right on that song. One, Wizkid is experimenting. It shows that he understands that, oh, yeah, I have to change something. So they switched it up and produced a reggae song. That's one. Two, the song that they produced has great songwriting, no vibes, which is amazing. Wizkid had created a problem for himself with derisory songwriting before, but this one was impressive. Three, the song, they got it right by putting a woman on that feature because it's a sensual song. Whoever made that decision has sense. Again, whoever picked that song has sense because it's a safe choice. Nobody's going to go out and criticize that song as
in terms of being a pop
in terms of being a terrible song.
Yeah.
They're not going to go at that song because it's a good song. It might not be a pop record, but it's a good song.
Okay.
Those are the first things.
So we've gotten that on the way.
Yes.
It's a good song.
Yes.
Is it going to be a successful record?
The song also tells me three things. One, that song was not released for the Nigerian market. As much as a lot of people think this song is this, that. A reggae song like that is not going to, is 90% of the time will crack the Nigerian mainstream in Nigeria in 2020. It is not going to happen. And they knew that. So as much as anything, what it tells me is what they released that song for, even if it's going to cross over to Nigeria, it's going to be soft landing for Wizkid. The second single is probably going to be a pop record. The second single of 2020 will probably be a pop record because why? Joro and Ghetto Love. I love Ghetto Love. Ghetto Love was a good song for me, but I understand why a lot of people don't like it. I don't like Joro, but I understand why some people like it. It's fine. Those songs were polarizing songs. They are not like Wizkid's hits of previous years. Even though some people like them, but they didn't necessarily carry the power of groundbreaking hits that Wizkid has had in the past. So when you look at that song as a whole, it's going to tell you that, look, these people knew what they were doing. They didn't want to release another song that could have termed a failure or a polarizing record or whatever else that you might have it. So it's called soft landing. It's the same thing with Tiwa Savage's Dangerous Love. They are preparing the ground. So if a soft landing is basically when you release a song like a Lucy, like Drake releases Lucy's, or a song that you know will not necessarily break through to a level of becoming a hit. If it works, it's fine. It will make your plans. Probably make your album even. Maybe as on a deluxe version or whatever. But on a song like this, they didn't create it to necessarily crack any mainstream. So the third thing that this song is telling me is this is Wizkid trying to re-enter the foreign space, most especially the UK.
The UK?
Yes. And the Caribbean.
Okay.
I would say this is Wizkid's version of Davido's Risky. It's brilliant because he's on RCA UK.
Yeah.
And at this time, it's easier to succeed in the UK more than it's easier to succeed in the US. Why? Because second and third generation immigrants in the UK resonate with Africa way more than their US counterparts. It's the same thing with the Caribbean, their pop sound is similar to ours. The formation and the percussion and the drum arrangement is similar. Of dancehall is kind of similar to Afrobeats. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you can merge both together and call it Afro swing. Yeah. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, UK just launched an Afrobeats chart. So it shows you that they are way more prepared for an Afrobeat success than US. The US is too diverse. The UK is diverse, make no mistake. But the soundscape in the UK is majorly dictated by Afro-inspired song. Maybe a large section of it, let's call it a large section to be safe. Okay. A large section of it is inspired or loves what Afro-inspired music does in a particular song. So in a way, it does make a lot of sense for them, and I kind of appreciate them for it. But choosing R for the song also shows that those people understand what they were doing because she's American. So as much as anything, those people will like it.
Okay, can we say sounds from the other side was his attempts for the US markets, and now maybe he's trying to just come back to where he knows he has a stronger base. That's his UK market, like you mentioned, and the Caribbean markets.
I wouldn't exactly say that. I think everybody that was on sounds from the other side didn't know they didn't exactly understand what they were doing at the time, and it's not their fault. It's not necessarily their fault. For a lot of reasons, you might say that was one of the very first Afrobeat albums that were released for anything other than the Nigerian market to cater to another market aside Nigeria. So Wizkid, as much as anything, and his team and the RCA team were a victim of time. So he was the experiment. Burna Boy represents part of the perfection. Burna Boy is not even the destination. Make no mistake. So Wizkid, as much as anything, those people at the time, they were just trying to make they were trying to make music to appeal to people. It might not have worked, but that just reflects the realities of the time. So you can't necessarily blame them. So was it meant to appeal to the US? Maybe, but it was mostly filled with dancehall songs. But dancehall was popping in the US at the time. Controller by Drake, dancehall. One Dance by Drake, dancehall. So as much as anything, US, UK, and the Caribbean, they were trying to appeal to everybody. But as much as anything, the song lacked the hue and lacked an identity to resonate with a particular audience. That was why the album just didn't catch fire.
Okay. So now with his target for the foreign market and everything, the major criticism of Wizkid has been that he is not a fully Afrobeat artist when he's trying to appeal to other markets. Unlike Burna Boy, who does really something that's closest to Afrobeat. You know, he turns into like a Caribbean artist or a reggae artist like we've seen in Smile. Is that a very legit criticism?
I mean, it is. It could be, but it's also about branding. Burna Boy calls himself the African giant. If he doesn't do that, then there will be a problem. If he doesn't do a song where he's chanting like people in ancient South Africa on a plantation or whatever, it's going to be a problem. But at the same time, does Wizkid have to do that? I think we have said it on Facts Only before. Wizkid does not have an expansive sonic palette like Burna Boy does. So what does Wizkid have to do? Wizkid has to produce things that will resonate with him without exposing his flaws. So as much as anything, he can't be Burna Boy. He can't do it. For a lot of reasons. But this is what he can do. What he can do is try to mimic different sounds because he's so good at generating different sounds. He can do it, but he cannot give you the originality and the shock value that Burna Boy will bring with it. So he can mimic it and be like a chameleon and glean it for something successful. So as much as anything, it might be part of the flaws of Wizkid as a person. It's also about branding. You can't necessarily fault it. But at the same time, should it be more Nigerian or more African? Yes, it should be. Okay. Because it's about identity at the end of the day.
Okay. So Smile, targeted for Nigerian market, made in Lagos. Has this increased your anticipation for the album or your expectation of the album, or is still basic?
No, it's still very, very. As much as anything, what this album tells me, what this song tells me is, it shows that Wizkid understands that changes need to happen. He understands it. But is it going the right way? It's too early to tell. We can't say anything yet. Maybe by the second or third single, we will know. He has a song with DJ Tunes dropping this Friday. It's DJ Tunes' song,
okay.
But we understand what the song is when we listen to it, where Wizkid is as an artist. It depends on when the song was also recorded. It might have been recorded 2 years ago, nobody knows. Okay. But then if the song is dropping, Wizkid is probably going to think, oh, people might want to listen to a particular song from me. So as much as anything, it's going to reflect, it's also going to reflect Wizkid's mind state. So is this song, does it tell anything? I don't necessarily think so, because as much as anything, I also think the choice for her on that song, even though it's going to be good for Wizkid on streaming, I think it could have been a female artist with more pop and sensuality in her brand. Someone who could have been a lot of sex drive, a lot of maybe beauty. I brought R&B vibes to it. The song could have used a little bit of pop from a woman with sensuality and sexuality as part of her brand. So it's not perfect, but it looks good going forward. I am not as pessimistic as I once was. That's what it is. And that's Facts Only.